Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be covering 11th house or 11th lord in the 8th house, and what happens with the planet that controls your 11th house is sitting in the 8th house. And obviously if you do not know where your 11th lord is and where your 8th lord is placed and all the lord through houses, for that check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction and Aspects at the Speed of Light. So what is 11th house? 11th house is a house of your hopes and wishes, your friends, your network circles, your professional network circles, your elder siblings. It is a house of your investments, where you reap the investments of the 5th house. So risk taking, anytime you do risk taking, whether it's a business or betting or gambling, how much you will get out of it is seen from the 11th house. And then what is the 8th house? 8th house is a house of transformation, sudden ups and downs. It's life and death scenarios. It's revolutionizing things. It's things that are buried underneath the ground. Occult, mysticism, sorcery, other people's assets, insurance, surgeries. It's a very mysterious house because it has its good side and it has its bad side. So when 11th lord goes into the 8th house, what this shows is that you love to make friends that you can interact with them in a very secret manner, in a very secrecy. You have friends where the other friends may not know that you have this person as your friend, because you like to keep them in a secret place. You like to keep your network circle in a secret place. And at the same time, you like to engage in friendships and create network circles that are kind of associated with mystical things, mysticism, secret societies, secret groups. Or perhaps you have friends who are in government, who are, perhaps government spies. Or you can make friends with people who are kind of dig deep for the truth. Like you may have a lot of detective friends, investigators, researchers, psychologists, psychiatrists as your friends. But you like to make friends who are very deep in thinking, who are like to investigate the things that other people do not want to investigate. You like to make friends who love to talk about ghosts, love to investigate ghosts, love to talk about death and rebirth, all the mystical things of life. A lot of people with this position have many friends who are astrologers, psychics, tarot readers, tantric gurus, because they love to have friends who can kind of show them the hidden treasure. That's what it's about. Your gains of the 11th house is coming through digging deep for treasure. So what this shows, these people find their gains of investments hidden in treasure, meaning they'll either get sudden windfall of wealth through acquiring it through their network circle or friends or elder siblings, or they may get inheritance. And at the same time, the main thing this shows, a person will get their money, their investments, if they invest in petroleum, gas stations, gemstones, because all of these things are buried underground. So whatever is buried underground, you will get your gains through that. So jewelers, people who make jewelries, gemologists, or somebody who is owning gas station in a petroleum industry, there's this very famous Indian entrepreneur, like a billionaire, who has the 11th lord in the 8th house, and his earnings came through things that were buried underground. It wasn't his earning, it was simply inherited through his family. So what this shows is that your source of earning will come from hidden sources, will come from things that nobody else is looking at. So what these, and since 8th house is a house of revolutionizing things, people who are revolutionary have a very strong 8th house, and these people are able to find their gains through revolutionizing an industry. And their gains will have sudden ups and downs. Like they will gain some, lose some, gain some, lose some. Now, if the 8th lord is in a good dignity, or if 8th lord is strongly placed in the 8th house, you will keep finding gains from underneath the ground. You will keep finding gains through, insurance. If you invest in insurance stocks, wills and estates, gemstones, and all the petroleum businesses I said. And also shows certain planets, if not in a good dignity, can show sudden ups and downs with your relationship with the brother, the elder siblings or elder brother or sister. Your relationship is good with them 1 minute and bad with them the next minute. Good with them 1 year, bad with them the next 3 years, where you don't even talk to them. So a lot of ups and downs. And what happens with these people is that because they like to keep their network circles, their friends, in a very secretive, tight space, they usually lose their friends because you're the kind of person who may not want to introduce one person to the other. You want to keep your resources hidden. So other people catch on to this and they kind of do not like that. And what happens is these people go through these phases of suddenly losing friends, suddenly gaining friends. So that's where the transformative side of the 8th house comes into play. But your gains will always come through, you know, investing in things related to life and death, like medical company, medical equipment, the surgeries. A surgeon can be seen with this kind of a placement. Or definitely gas stations. Like if you were to invest in something, if you're going to invest in real estate, invest in a gas station as a real estate, and that will give you a lot of gains with this. Now, depending upon what planet is controlling this, the sign of the 11th house is sitting in the 8th house, will differentiate that. So let's discuss that. So let's say if Sun controls your 11th house and Sun goes into the 8th house, what this shows is that through your father, you will find hidden treasure. Through your father, through your elder sibling, especially male sibling, because Sun is a masculine planet, you will find your personality hidden underneath. These are the people who kind of are very secretive and private growing up, and throughout their life they're very secret. Their personality, their ego is always hidden underneath. Their anger is always hidden underneath with this kind of a Sun. But they're the kind of people who will go to lengths to, you know, gain through politics, through government. They do very well in government and taxations, and even as an advocate, because Sun is all about the government issues, the government things. And you will gain through government. Like these are the people who will suddenly, like in Mahadash's Sun, if it's placed in the 8th house, find the fact that they have been overpaying the government for so long, and now the government suddenly send them a huge check after 10 years. And they're like, oh my God, how did I find this treasure? Well, that's because of some of these scenarios you find this treasure. And also this can show a person who is really creative, is all about digging deep for their creativity and then bringing it out through their voice in the 2nd house. Because planet in the 8th house will always aspect the 2nd house, which is a voice and vocal cord. So actors, singers can be seen with this kind of a Sun with a really powerful voice. Let's say if Moon controls your 11th house, Moon goes into the 8th house. What this shows is that you make a very emotional connections with people who are in emergencies, who are suffering. Your gains and your investment, you invest in people who are suffering in life, who need your help, you need your assistance. And at the same time, your ability to make friends and network circles are all about how well they can nourish you in the privacy of your own space. How well they can, you know, become that motherly figure in your life. Also shows that your mother herself perhaps was a nurse, perhaps was somebody who was dealing with very much major ups and downs in life, and perhaps that was her profession as well. And your elder sibling, you know, regardless of male or female, will be this hidden power to you, hidden emotional strength. Anytime you fall back down, somehow your sibling are always able to pick you back up because of this position. They are the one who motivates you. They're like, no, you can do this. You can come out of this grave and rise up again. Now, if Moon is in a bad dignity, obviously this can show that through your friends, you feel depressed. You get very bad thoughts. You are your mind is always involved in death. Your mind is always about investigating things related to death. So either this can make you a killer or a surgeon. But that's where you have to see, you know, how the Moon is situated in the horoscope. Let's say if Mercury controls your 11th house and Mercury goes into the 8th house. What Mercury does is that you love to have a lot of friends. Yet you love to make friends with people who know a lot of secrecy, who know a lot of secret knowledge, secret information. Perhaps you're a stockbroker, you run into a friend or a stranger who just knows some secrets about Wall Street that they don't want to share. You love to make friends with them. Mercury becomes curious about the occult. Mercury wants to communicate with people and friends and network circle, elder siblings, you know, male or female, all about the occult. Hey, what is this astrology, what is this mysticism, what is black magic, what is this, what is that. So you kind of gain your resources through investigative journalism. You invest in stock market and insurance, and and you suddenly gain out of nowhere. Like people who win lotteries always have the a relationship to 5th and 8th house and 11th house, because you suddenly gain unexpectedly. So Mercury here is a kind of a businessman who will suddenly gain money out of nowhere. Like one day you're not doing anything, the next day you're getting like $100 million contract. But this Mercury is very good for, things related to accounting, things related to, government taxes, tax work, stock market, somebody who deals in a business of death, like owning mortuaries, gaining from that. But mainly these are the people, if they go into stock market, they usually gain through commodities, oil, wheat, any kind of food commodity. And that's how they will gain their sudden gains through investing in these things. Because remember, 11th house is not your earnings through your work that you do. It is the investment you make. Now, unless you have your business, then 11th house becomes, something to see for how your investment is going. Now, let's say Venus controls your 11th house, and Venus goes into the 8th house. Here, it shows that through marriage, you will suddenly gain. Venus is wife and marriage for both men and women. So it shows that after marriage, you suddenly gain. Shows after marriage, you suddenly get interested in hidden secrets of the world. You start finding a lot of secrets out. Since 8th house is also sexuality and sexual behavior in secrecy, shows you get a spouse who's extremely sexual, yet emotionally connected to you. Emotionally connected to you, and through them you gain a lot suddenly. Your savings grow suddenly. It never happens like on a slow pace. It happens like, and it goes down like. Now, you got to see what dignity Venus is in to see if that gain or loss will come with the spouse. And usually they also show they love to invest in things related to entertainment, women's clothing, stock. If they ever invest in stocks, they'll invest in stocks that are related to women. And also shows that this person always want to have relationship, especially a man with this kind of a Venus, wants to have a relationship with a woman in a very secret environment, through which he can gain a lot. Whether it's her money, her love, but it'll always happen in secrecy. Yet at the same time shows that your elder sibling may have some hidden sexual agenda as well. These people can be one of those people whose siblings maybe is a closeted gay or closeted lesbian, and they're not able to say that, especially Venus is retrograde. And Venus is receiving an aspect from Ketu and Mercury, shows that a sibling, elder sibling, might be having sexual problems. Yet, in your case, Venus in the 8th house actually does very well. Venus is like a lotus that grows from the gutter, where from the most unorthodox place, you will find luxury and wealth. So these are the people who can really do business of gemstones, women's jewelry, gold, investing in gold, silver, minerals. Let's say if Mars controls your 11th house, goes into the 8th house, shows somebody whose relationship with a male sibling especially will tremendously be up and down. There's going to be a lot of secret dealings, a lot of financial secret dealings between the siblings that can make the relationship have a lot of power struggle. Yet at the same time, this person has a lot of hidden strength. These are the people with Mars in the 8th house with the 11th Lord. May not look like they can fight you or they can be brave out there, but once you kind of like push them a little bit, they will come after you. Their hidden power and volcano inside erupts. And these are the people who kind of hide their emotions a lot within, and then suddenly burst into anger. And this is why their power struggle with the network circles or with friends happen, because they keep getting pushed with their friends or network circle, or people make fun of them whenever they go out, and suddenly they'll lose it. They'll either shoot everybody or beat someone up to the bloody pulp, and because they cannot handle it. But what Mars does, Mars keeps storing that energy until it's like full and then suddenly bursts. But here Mars can make somebody a great athlete, somebody who's a great investigator, somebody who's a great surgeon, because Mars is about using sharp objects to dig deep. 8th house is a house of surgery, so a surgeon can be seen from this placement. Somebody who's very good in martial arts can be seen with this kind of a Mars. Let's say if Jupiter controls your 11th house, goes into the 8th house, shows you will always find money and treasure at the very last minute when you do not have money. Because Jupiter is a karka of money, as in significator of wealth, and especially the significator of the 11th house. So Jupiter shows that you will always gain money suddenly out of nowhere from the places you never expected. A good example would be like you are out of money. You're out of rent, your rent time is coming, you don't have a job right now, and you're searching for money for this and that, you know, I mean, it's just, life can be hard. I've been through those things, and where suddenly you open up the couch and there's $300 sitting right there. For someone like me, you know, just like 4 or 5 years ago, $300 were like close to $300,000. So these people, always at the last minute, Jupiter comes and helps. Why? Because Jupiter is Amrit. It is the most positive, the most benefic planet out there. So in the 8th house, he says, I am not dead here. I'm actually going to give you a treasure that is hidden. So although you may suffer great ups and downs financially with this Jupiter, yet at the last minute, you'll always get help. Somebody will come in, you'll win a lottery, you'll find money here, you'll suddenly get a job that is paying you 3 times as much, even though you haven't worked for 2 years. But this Jupiter always helps. And what this shows, you like to make friends with a lot of mystics, people who are very wise, yet people who are knowledgeable about the hidden knowledge of the world. Somebody who knows secrets of the government, secrets of mysticism, and you love to get wisdom from them. Your education comes from these kind of people. Let's say if Saturn controls the 11th house and Saturn goes into the 8th house, what this shows, this person will definitely gain a lot of money through iron, coal, steel, metal, petroleum, gas. Because Saturn is the karka of the 8th house, of things related to death and things buried underground. Saturn represents all the things that I just mentioned. So these are the people who should invest in gas stations, who should invest in stock market, especially related to these stocks of, you know, commodities and metals. They will gain a lot. Here Saturn shows that you will definitely will have a long life. You will gain a lot of good health with this kind of a Saturn, because Saturn suppresses wherever he sits. He sits in the 8th house, he's going to suppress the negativity of the 8th house. So these people don't really suffer too many ups and downs. These people might just have all the gains in life. Like their sudden gains will start and they'll suddenly start gaining things in life. And shows that these people really are very organized and you know, very punctual and disciplined when it comes to their health. They are very health conscious. And Saturn here really teaches them all the karmic lessons regarding their health. They become very health conscious in Saturn Mahadasha. They want to take care of their body. Yet at the same time, they might be in a business of death and life. They make great insurance sales agents with this kind of a Saturn. Their gains come through insurance and wills in the states. They work as a government bureaucrat. They work in taxation. Because remember, nothing is certain than death and taxes. This quote is actually related to Saturn. So Saturn can make somebody gain through taxes, through death. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of 11th Lord in the 8th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your 11th Lord is and where your 8th Lord is, for that, check out the links here. And check out my full astrological report, including my other new options. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.